Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention? Good morning and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to all viewers. First of all, I would like to welcome you all to this forum in this beautiful evening. My name is Muhammad Irfan bin Muhammadiyah and I will be your moderator in this forum. Okay. Today, we will discuss about a few things that have been issued from all around people lately. Our forum topic is kids and gadgets, the effect of electronic media on developing brains. I would like to introduce our panel from today's issue. From my side is from University Sultan Zainal Abidin is Ahmad Nakib Aizat bin Rashali, and from the other side is Abdul Azim bin Nur Asha from Tatiuc University College. Alright, before we start our discussion today, I would like to give a brief explanation about our today's topic. It's amazing how 2 years old can be hand a gadget and just know how to use it. Similar is how kids know how to use a feeding bottle. Action figure, puzzle, and block are no longer the standard type of toy that I play today, right? Without further ado, I would like to welcome our panel to deliver this speech. Alright, Mr. Abdul Azim, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Irfan. As you know, devices such as tablets and smartphone has become more advanced these days, with all the application and its software, which is very complex. Some of the parents tend to give their children to use tablet before the age of 2 to distract them from bothering their parents. And little that you know, this sort of thing is very bad for toddlers, which this can affect language delay.
Really? This is a new piece of information for me. Can you tell us more about what our topic that we're discussing?
Certainly, Irfan. According to the American Academy of Pediatrics or the AAP, which conducted a survey on parenting, more than 38% of kids under the age of 2 use gadgets such as tablet, smartphone, even before they could walk or talk. What it actually doing is interfere the talk time between the parents and their growing children, which result in this language delay. I'm sorry, but this is not how parenting should be. There is no such thing as educational television. The real starting point of education starts from your parents. That's how the cookie crumbles.
Well, I thought that there are presumptions that the screen time can be educational.
Yes, true, but toddlers do not have the cognitive ability to comprehend such technology. Even if they can, there will be some language barrier between the parents and the children. For example, if you look at your phones now, the simplest thing I can explain is about the apps, like such as Facebook, games, camera, contacts, any apps. How they differentiate is by the color of it. You can see your phone right now. It's different. How they differentiate is by the pattern, the color, so they know what it does, but doesn't know what it means. You can make a survey by yourself by comparing family A, whose lifestyle is very modern with technology like that, and family B, which live in an educational environment. And maybe a simpler example, like TV shows such as Teletubbies. You all know Teletubbies from the 90s, on how they attract the children by their costume with different colors.
Thank you, Azim, for that intriguing speech. And now I will pass the next question to my friend, Mr. Nakib Aizat. I would like to ask you, Nakib, our next main effect is child aggressive behavior, right? And my question is, how can an electronic device could manipulate children's mind not only but it also affecting their behavior? What can you say about that?
Thank you, Irfan. To answer your question, let us think back about the boundaries of certain age behavior. For example, we can differentiate how a baby and adult behave, right? Okay, the baby always crying and the adults with their mature normalization, yes. In this case, there are many stages of a human in real life that have their own behavior and also the boundaries of their behavior. Do you think it's a normal thing if mid-school children wooing a woman?
No.
Of course not. Because this kind of thing is what I call the boundaries. Therefore, we all know, especially parents, know how the children should behave even they throwing tantrum at you. So, what I want to say is these boundaries are such as the language used and the attitude they show. But this device nowadays that have no limitation or restriction or whatsoever, that could lead to negative effects.
Well, this is interesting. Can you give me some example of the kind of things that you mentioned and describe them to that viewers will know well about the thing that you just said?
Okay, with all my example that I've been told, I will take some example from it, which is the 18 plus rated games. This kind of game introduced the public with negative things that should have not been near to a kid, such as portrait sex, murder, torture, and the mutilation. Which this kind of thing can make the kids violent and aggressive. The boundaries that we talk about will slowly break into the children's mind. This visual could lead to break the old boundaries, families, values, behavior, and children well-being. Therefore, parents and guardians should control on the content on their device that they use.
Excuse me, but may I interrupt?
Yes.
I'm really interested in your could let the break the things that you just mentioned before. Can you use this phrase to support your idea on how the 18 plus rate could let the misbehave that I concerned? In what way this kind of game could affect how the children thinks?
Very good question, Frank. Generally, games are made to provide a simulation virtually for people in real life, such as a sports game. As we know, FIFA, we virtually play the game and the sports, but behind the glass wall. However, in terms of developing children, these kids should physically active by using their own bodies to interact in their own real life. That's what it's called learning by experiencing in real life. I agree with some games that use modern technology that provide a real life experience. But in this case, I don't think it's such a thing, same as real life. I want to relate this statement with a study from Dr. Jim Taylor. He's a well-known professor in this psychological things. He is an adjunct professor from the University of San Francisco. He mentioned that there are some fundamental difference between connected life, that is life through the lens of technology, and real life. The one in which we live, such as wire, is not real.
I think that I have a question for you. Is that the visual can lead to the real life? Is that effect to the real life? What behind the wall, behind the TVs or videos can affect to the real life? I mean, it just behind the wall. Could it affect to the real life in a bad way?
Yes, probably. But in this case, maybe the percent of the effect of it maybe just maybe a little bit. Depends.
Depends, alright. Thank you, Nakib, for that long and informative speech. And now I would like to ask Azim, right? What are the issues that are frequently talked about when involve this kind of effect?
Well, the other issue about this gadget to children is that it's keeping them awake at night. The backlight from the laptops or smartphones are depriving children to a good night's sleep. This doesn't only affect the child's development, but also affect their performance in school. 60% of parents do not supervise their children gadgets usage. More than 75% of kids are allowed to use technology in their bedroom. This result in 75% of kids of sleep-deprived children between the age of 9 and 12. From my opinion, This is obviously bad for your body and mental state. In some cases, causes cardiac arrest, which is sort of heart attack, which ultimately shuts down your brain due to you focusing on the screen in the dark.
Can I ask you one question?
Sure, you can.
Is there any solution? Is a child that really, if you take something really matter to them, let's say that the really matter to them is a gadget.
Yeah.
That if we take the gadget from him, he would say he would cry, throwing a tantrum. What would be a solution that we are looking for this kind of children?
For me, this is how we should teach our kids. Phones, they may be a good thing, but mostly bad things. They're disturbing the children while at school, all the time at school. Like they are not focused in school like that, due to sleep late at night, staying up late until 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, or in the morning.
Any solution to that?
My solution is just take the phones from the kids.
Just take the phone.
Just take the phone.
Alright. Use the strict.
Yeah, we need to be strict with our
Alright,
kids.
alright.
Or not, they will. I don't know how to say it.
Alright. Thank you. Alright, I think just now you were talking about the tiredness and well-being. At some point, this could affect to their education. Can you elaborate this for all of our audience?
Certainly, from the tiredness you get from staying up late at school, their focus in class will gradually drop without you noticing it. They are less focused in school due to the lack of sleep, which results children from less developed countries with less modern technologies score better in their education. But children in the big economy world like USA, full of Xbox like that, their education is very low. So I got a question for you too, for all of you. You think technology is good for you? Do you think it's good for you now?
Yes, for sometimes.
For me, I don't think so. For children, I don't think so, because I give you my experience. When I was 12, I used to play video games from 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. with my mates. I sleep late at night. I was blowing my own trumpet. At first, it felt nothing, but I realized after 3 months, I got my result for my exam. From my exam, my result was down the drain. So I was crying, but then I realized it's no point crying over spilled milk because it's our fault, and that's how I was doing.
I hope that our audience that have child maybe take some point at your story here.
Don't be like me.
Don't. Thank you, Asim. Lastly, for our main effect that could occur to children if they spend too much time with gadget is kids will suffer with mental illness, yeah. And then kid, you are the person who always do some research about this kind of thing. I think you want to share to some of us here about what you have come across from your research?
Well, from my research, okay, thank you, Irfan. Nowadays, technology expands to beyond people's imagination. With that state, studies that effect of brain from spending on much time on electronic media is very popular in all countries, especially children in the developing stage. So why the time that they spend is really matters to the children's brain? My answer is it matters a lot. Spending too much time on this gadget, these developing kids can cause many physiological, psychological difficulties. There are so many of it, so I want to share you some of it that pops into my mind, such as anxiety, low self-esteem, and heightened aggression as a result of overusing the computers.
Alright, this study shows that the time usage on the electronic really matter to their emotion. Is there any ways that this overexposed time on gadget could affect on how the children thinks?
Oh, definitely. There is a symptom as result by their overexposed time on gadget, which is called brain fog. Sir, maybe by your experience, I think that you might, experience the brain fog. This symptom actually start as a joke at first, but for the children developing age, I think there's no joke for that because this symptom can cause difficulty learning new things, poor mental stamina, and difficulty finding the right word, like thinking one word but saying another.
Okay, for my last question for you is, what is your own concern regard to the mental illness that children may end up if they spend too much time on the electronic media? What would affect them?
Well, for my personal opinion, I think what I concern about this kid in their future is how they use their mind for the future. In this term, what I say is how they use their own mind to make up a decision in the future. If any early stage of a kid is already corrupted with bad influence on their mind, the percent of the kid to lead his or her own life in a better way is very small.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, finally we come to the end part of our forum. We would like to thanks again to the presenter for the informative and interesting talk, and also to our audience for active participation. Alright, hopefully the presentation will be beneficial for everybody. Thank you for all your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay.